that are lost. So he kept Judas hanging around. And then 6 days before the crucifixion, there was a dinner party at the home of Mary and Lazarus. And Mary came out carrying an alabaster box, a box of very precious ointment. The ointment so expensive it cost her 4 years' wages. Now most folks bring the cheap stuff out when the company come around and save the best stuff for last. But Mary was doing something for Jesus. And anytime you do anything for Jesus, it ought to be the best that you got. And so after supper was ended, Mary brings out this box. And Mary breaks the box and began to anoint the body of Jesus. And when Mary started anointing Jesus' body, it was Judas that spoke up. And said, why are you wasting that ointment? See, a whole lot of folk got that Judas attitude. Judas said, that's too much to put on Christ. Some folks said, that's too much to put in the church. Some folks said, that's too much for you to be doing all of that. Some folks said, it don't take all of that. That's too much praise. It don't take all of that. Talk about the Judas attitude now. Folk can tell you that's too much. You see, but Mary had an alabaster box. And Mary was preparing for Jesus' burial. But Judas had the money box. And Judas was preparing for Jesus' betrayal. And I believe if Mary could have spoke her mind that night and said what she wanted to say to Judas, I believe she would have said, you don't know like I know what the Lord has done for me. How he picked me up, turned me around, put my feet on solid ground. But Judas said it's too much. But you see, Mary felt like anything I'm doing for Jesus is not too much. Mary felt like Jesus was worth all the precious ointment in the world. That widow woman with the 2 mites that gave what she had felt like Jesus was worth all the money that she had. Joseph of Arimathea felt like Jesus was worth 100 pounds of spices. The 3 wise men that came from the east felt like Jesus was worth his weight in gold. What is Jesus worth to you? And so the lesson goes on and said that same night in which he was betrayed, the last dinner, Jesus instituted the Lord's Supper. And who was sitting right next to Jesus but Judas? You see, Jesus wasn't surprised by Judas, because Jesus said, one of you shall betray me. And all of the disciples began to say, Lord, is it I? Even Judas. But you see, Judas was expected, because Jesus said, one of you. Judas was even exposed, because Jesus said, he that dippeth his hand in the cup with me. Judas was expelled, because Jesus said, what you do, go do it quickly. And so Judas goes out and finds the chief priest. And Judas walks up to the chief priest and says, I got Jesus, the one that you're looking for. And said, what will you give me? I used to have a teacher when I was in the 6th grade who would always say there's no such thing as a dumb question. But Judas proves a point that there is such a thing as a dumb question. Because Judas was selling Jesus, the ruler of the world. And all he could say was, what will you give me? Judas was selling the bread of life. He was selling the bright and morning star. He was selling the great I am. And all he could say was, what will you give me? Judas was selling the Prince of Peace. Judas was selling the Rose of Sharon. Judas was selling the lily of the valley. He was selling the light of the world. He was selling the bright and morning star. And with all his experience with money, all he could say was, what will you give me? Didn't have enough sense to put a price on Jesus. Because Jesus was the sure foundation. Jesus is the true vine. Jesus is the good shepherd. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. And all Jesus could say was, what will you give me? How do you put a price on somebody that means so much to so many? To Abraham, he was a sacrifice on Mount Moriah. To Moses, he was a pillar of fire and a cloud. To Aaron, he was a rod that budded. To Gideon, he was the angel of the Lord. To Ruth, he was the kinsman redeemer. To Samuel, he was the ark of the covenant. To Elijah, he was a still small voice. To Ezekiel, he was a wheel in the middle of the wheel. To Daniel, he was the handwriter on the wall. To Haggai, he was the desire of the nations. To Malachi, he was the sword of righteousness. What is he to you? Somebody here say he's my doctor. Somebody here might say he's my lawyer. Somebody here might say he's a way out of no way. Somebody might say he's my company keeper. What is Jesus? What's he worth? What's he worth to you? Jesus is worth everything to me. Judas sold the Lord of Lords for 30 pieces of silver. Judas sold the master of the world for 30 pieces of silver. Judas sold the wonderful counselor. Judas sold the King of Kings. Judas sold the Lord of Lords for the price of a slave. And for 30 pieces of silver, they put a crown on his head. For 30 pieces of silver, they nailed him to a cross. For 30 pieces of silver, they speared him in the side. For 30 pieces of silver, he died. But he didn't stay dead. They hung him high. They stretched him wide. He hung his head. And for 30 pieces of silver, he died. But early Sunday morning, he got up from the grave with all power in his hand. What is Jesus worth to you? He's worth every song that's sang about him. He's worth every verse that's written about him. He's worth every offering that's given to him. He's worth every church opening his name